and welcome to the latest episode of the Wind Down Rewind, where we rewind the latest in entertainment and pop culture news. Thank you for joining us. I'm Eddie.
And I'm Tammy.
Wow, there's a lot to get to this week, so let's just get to it. We start with our in memoriam section. We say goodbye to three greats, three legendary greats. First, it was Paul Sorvino, Goodfellas. I know you've never seen Goodfellas, or have you? Is that the one you've watched?
No, that's the one I haven't watched.
That's the one you haven't watched. And he was also the father of actress Mira Sorvino, and he was 83 years old. He was a great actor. I usually, if he was in a role, even if it was like a character role or a side role, he was really good in it. So, were you familiar with him?
I've seen some things that he's acted in. I just didn't know his name, but I recognized him when I saw his face.
You saw the face, yeah. And also, we say goodbye to Nichelle Nichols, the groundbreaking star of the OG Star Trek series. She was 88. She made history where she and William Shatner shared the first interracial kiss on TV. Did you watch Star Trek?
No.
I was definitely not around when Star Trek was like on its original, but I think it was one of those shows that was in syndication that's been in syndication forever. So I remember when I was little, my aunt used to love it, and so I was just like, oh. And it was I have to admit, the OG Star Trek, I'm very familiar with it because I've seen a lot of episodes. As a kid, when there was only one TV in the house and you had to watch what was on. I was forced to watch quite a bit of Star Trek. I was just like, what the fuck is this? Yeah, that I said that as a kid. I've always been a cusser. So, but rest in peace to Nichelle Nichols, and also legendary NBA player and activist Bill Russell. He's the GOAT. Like I know we call Tom Brady GOAT. We call a lot of people GOAT, but for real, when you say GOAT in basketball, he is from one of those. He's from that legendary NBA, like him, Wilt Chamberlain. He was just a GOAT, but he won 11 championships as a player and a coach with the Celtics. And he spent his whole career with the Boston Celtics. And, Celtics fans, Boston fans, they get a lot. They take a lot of heat. Even LeBron just recently racist they are. They love
very much.
They loved Bill Russell. You can't say anything bad about Bill Russell in Boston.
Why didn't he show up for his? Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Why didn't he what?
He didn't show up for his when they retired his jersey
in Boston.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I'm not. I don't know. I honestly can't answer that. I didn't know he skipped that ceremony. They loved him. He may not have had as much love for the city as they have for him, but I know he's never disavowed the team or his years with Boston. I know there's probably a time where he may have had some beef with them, but I'm not sure why he didn't show up for the ceremony. But I do know that he was one of those legendary players way before my time. But just as a sports fan, I remember he's one of those players I always ask my mom, was he as good as they say? Like whenever I see old players like Oscar Robertson and all them come out, Nate, Tiny, Archibald, I always go to my mom, like, were they as good as they say? So I guess they're like, for us, the kids ask, was Jordan as good as they say? Like whenever kids talk about they can beat Jordan, someone could beat Jordan, I'm like, Jordan in his prime? Yeah, okay. But so may they rest in peace. Also, on a different note, I know this is going to break your heart. Kim Kardashian and Pete Davidson are donezo.
I'm crying on the inside.
I felt it. That's your moment of silence. And did you ever eat the Choco Taco?
What?
The Choco Taco. It's apparently a very popular ice cream treat from Klondike. They are no longer going to make the Choco Taco.
Okay, that breaks my heart.
Oh,
I
so,
grew up on
so
that.
now you know what the chocolate taco is, right?
No, like when you say like Klondike, I was like, because in my head I was like, wait, is she talking about the ice cream treat? Oh
Yeah,
my
the
God.
chocolate taco.
What? Oh, me and my
Yeah,
friends used to argue over that. That was a big thing me growing up. Mm-hmm.
yeah. So R.I.P. to the chocolate taco. Although there's some rumors because the backlash was so swift about them canceling the choco taco or no longer making the choco taco that they might be trying to find a way to bring it back. So
It's like the spicy nuggets from Wendy's.
they no longer make the spicy nuggets from Wendy's.
No, at one point they stopped making the spicy nuggets from Wendy's. And then, oh my God, I forgot. Chance the Rapper complained about it on Twitter and they automatically brought it back.
Oh, okay. Well, I do not I don't fucks with the spicy food. So anytime I'm like, what? Oh, but well, yeah. So the choco taco, we'll see how long. Um, I try not to wish ill will on anyone, but if this person just fell off the face of the earth, I would be okay with it. Not to just get into how horrible or despicable human being he is, but it is pretty newsworthy. Alex Jones, a jury here in Texas just ruled this weekend that he is going to have to pay $50 million to the family in the first Sandy Hook trial for spreading lies and misinformation. He is the one who started that whole false flag incident thing by saying, Sandy Hook wasn't real, that it was actors, that the parents were lying, the children never existed, just all that BS. They were going after $150 million, and the money wasn't really the purpose. It was to get him to admit that he'd been lying all this time. But they got $4 million in compensatory, what they could prove they spent on all of this. I didn't know that they'd had to move. This one woman had to move over 70 times because of all the people harassing her, telling her she was lying and stuff like that. And then the other 45 was in punitive damages. So it couldn't have happened to a nicer guy. And um, hey, it couldn't have. And okay, now I know you don't keep up with this, but let me ask your opinion. I'm asking your opinion on this. Either his lawyers are the dumbest fucking people on earth and deserve to have their law license revoked for malpractice, or they did this on purpose. They sent 2 years, basically the entire contents of his phone, to the Sandy Hook lawyers. Okay. Apparently, it was put in this Dropbox that the Sandy Hook lawyers had access to. The Sandy Hook lawyers see it and they get in touch with the lawyers, with Alex Jones's lawyers, and they say, "Yo, are we supposed to have access to this?" The lawyers say no, but they leave it in the Dropbox. They don't take it. They don't do anything to remove it. So the Sandy Hook lawyers notify the courts, do everything they're supposed to do, and then they still don't remove it within that time, so it becomes free and fair game. That's how they proved that he had perjured himself. Like, everyone knew he was lying, but that's how they proved that he actually committed perjury. And now the January 6th committee is going to get the text messages. They tried getting them from his lawyers. Of course, they did not, but now they're going to get them from the Sandy Hook lawyers. So are they just that incompetent, or does that strike you as just being a little bit sneaky and doing it a little bit on purpose?
I don't know, because the person who would have done that on purpose, or a decision would have been made, there's some real consequences to that. So I'm going to say I hope that it was a mistake and it was miscommunication within their law firm, and that they didn't do it on purpose, because I can see that being a lot of people's careers if he wants to sue, because he can sue them for revealing the content. Now, will he? Probably not, but he can sue his lawyers, or they can be up for the review board over that innocent mistake.
Yeah. But it's like, because even when they notified you and told you, hey, I think this was an accident, am I supposed to see this? You say no. And it's like, if someone told me, if I did something that egregious, there's the SAT word, I'm just going to stop you. If I did something that bad, I fucked up like that, and you've been like, hey, is that, and I'll be like, oh shit, no, and I get it out, I get it really quick. And he obviously didn't know, like they never told him. And it wasn't like it was just in there for minutes or it was just done the day before. Like they had known for a while. And when the time expired, like they notified the courts and everything. So I'm just like, y'all cannot be that incompetent to where you even find out that you've made this mistake and you don't do anything to correct it. So yeah. Of course it was a quote unquote paralegal who I'm sure no longer has their job who did it. So we'll see. But all I can say is karma. Like I said, no, this couldn't have happened to a nicer guy. He's also one of the main people who financed January 6th, that whole insurrection and all of that crap. So we'll see. Um, Kansas. Did you hear about the vote in Kansas?
I did.
You did. Do you think, was it surprising to you?
Probably, since Kansas is a red state.
Yeah, it surprised me. It surprised a lot of people that they voted to keep abortion access and the right to choose in their constitution. So um, I think that sent a clear message to the GOP and conservatives. And also, this was during a Republican primary. It was on the ballot, so most of the people they were expecting to turn out were Republicans. So it backfired, and it wasn't just a small victory; it was an astounding victory. They had great turnout for that. So if Kansas is leading the way, who would have thought that, we would want to follow Kansas's lead in anything? But hey, and the person, Ron DeSantis, he suspended a state's attorney in Florida for saying that they would not prosecute anyone under the state's draconian anti-abortion laws or their "Don't Say Gay" law. And I only bring him up because if Domingo Mussolini cannot run for president, if he is actually indicted or mired in too much conspiracy where he's even too toxic for that party, which is probably the only way he won't be the nominee, then it's going to be DeSantis. And people think, oh, that's a good thing. No, it's not. He is worse than Trump. He is actually smarter than Trump. He knows how to play the game. Trump was all about just being a narcissist and what was in it for him and doing what he could do. He really didn't care about playing the game. He just wanted to rig it so he could win it. But DeSantis actually knows how to play the political game. And a lot of people who are jumping off of the MAGA bandwagon, like Fox News and all of those Rupert Murdoch companies, they're jumping onto the DeSantis bandwagon. And he is definitely not the lesser of the two evils. So I'm just putting that out there. And Biden is recovering from COVID, his latest repeat case, which is good. But he declared monkeypox as a national public health emergency. So people just be careful. It spreads in a lot of same ways as COVID, and it is affecting the LGBTQ, the Black and Hispanic communities disproportionately more than any other. So just be really careful out there, especially if you see people with, sores and stuff on their hands or their bodies and all of that. So treat it as the threat that it is. COVID is still a threat. So that is that. Now, did you hear about Britney Griner?
I did.
So what did you think about her sentence? She got 9 years and fined 1,000,000 rubles, which is about $16,500. So $16,500 in US.
As an American in American system, I consider that to be way too much. But it's typical Russia.
Yeah and no. Like we talked about before, her, the punishment doesn't fit the crime. Even for people who brought in more than this, who the people that they do stop, like they pick and choose. They say typically they might detain them for a week, maybe a couple of months, give them a fine and send them on their way. Like I said, she basically is collateral damage in a geopolitical war. And so negotiations are underway. We talked about it, I think, during our last episode. Victor Bout, the Merchant of Death, the U.S. did offer him up for her and another, I forgot the other guy's name, but another American that's being held. So we'll see what happens. Russia claims that they are open to negotiations, but they also know at this point, no pun intended, the ball is in their court. That they at right now at this point hold all of the cards. So we'll see what happens. With this case. I really hope she is not there for 9 years. I really hope we can get her home soon. But yeah, and um, it sucks. We'll see what how it goes. Um, Deshaun, sticking with the sports, Deshaun Watson, he got 6 games. Were you surprised by that?
I don't watch sports, so I didn't have like it's the NFL. Um, uh, I mean, granted, the NFL is trying to go for more, but on more research, kind of see why he only got 6 games and he didn't get the year that the NFL was supposedly going for.
Why you say that?
Because of the fact of the NFL was being more reactive than proactive. If you look at just the rules and the bylines, with the NFL and the player, I guess what you would call the players union or however that goes, they don't really have guidelines. There was no real guidelines on what they can do. So the judge, I forgot what the official word is for her position, but the judge basically said the reason why she followed the guidelines that was put out there. Their guidelines are very, very like iffy, and they're not very detailed on exactly the different consequences that can be put out for different situations. So she followed the guidelines of the NFL. Just because they want more, she was just like, that's on you. She put it back on the NFL on y'all need to change your rules and you need to update your guidelines so that consequences can be put out for the crimes that have been committed. So she's sticking it to the NFL.
On that aspect, I agree. And she would be, they call her, people in her position, arbitrators. So on that aspect, I agree. The NFL, just like a lot of these male-dominated sports leagues, they don't have anything in place that I know of for when their athletes commit acts of domestic violence, or they have stuff in there for weed and they have stuff in there for drugs, but they don't have anything in there for what happens when or even if they commit a crime, like but nothing when they do something like this. But one thing I did not agree with her on is she also said her ruling was because his crimes were nonviolent, and that is a direct quote from her. And I was like, as a woman, I found that to be horrible, to say that what he did was nonviolent. And I think we have this thing of where we think of violence as only something that happens physically. We don't think about it. The mental toll, the emotional violence that takes place. And so I just thought, wow, that and coming from another woman, that kind of cut deep. Like I said, I agree with you. So it's one of those times I have the product. Like, I love football, and I've tried to. I have my moments where they just do stuff so stupid where I just cannot watch. But I try to. It's one of those things where I walk that fine line, and I have to separate it. Football versus the NFL, and the NFL as an institution, as a business, as a corporation. I think this is going for a PR move now. Goodell is one of those who likes to get his way. You're appealing this decision because you wanted him to take the year. You wanted him to have a year. You found an arbitrator who is from your home state. He's the former Attorney General of your home state of New Jersey. He's very Goodell friendly, very NFL friendly. He's going to hear the appeal. So we'll see what happens, how many games he actually ends up getting um, from that. But then it brings up to me the case of the Washington Redskins. Same thing. Owner was accused of racism, sexual harassment, all this other crap. And the terms of that investigation were so bad that John Gruden, whose only connection to the team was that his brother was the coach, and he sent an email he shouldn't have sent via corporate email, through the NFL channels, that got him fired from his team halfway across on the other side of the country. But they won't even release the details of that investigation. So it's like they want to pick and choose where they seek their form of quote unquote justice. The owner of the Miami Dolphins, he just got suspended and fined 6 games for basically telling his black coach to tank the season for tampering with Tom Brady during his his free agent year, and all of that. He basically admitted that he did what the coach said he did, but they only suspend him 6 games and fine him $1 million. Where if it's and they use the integrity of the game. So if it's so much about the integrity of the game, I think they should have gone after his ownership. But we'll see. Like I said, the NFL, they love the kings of picking and choosing. Kevin Spacey, you hear about that one?
Yeah.
You're like, yeah. I promise it's going to get better. This is the case that probably was the beginning of the end of his career. He was on a hit show on HBO called The House of Cards. Great show, loved it. But he was ordered to pay $31 million for that case, for the sexual assault or harassment, for all the people that he harassed or assaulted during his stay on that show. So,
well, that's not 31 million. Isn't going to the victims.
Where is it going to?
So he has to pay 31 million to the creators and the production company of the show House of Cards because of the assault case, which ultimately had them reshift the whole last season, as well as like have to write him out and everything like that. So he has to pay them for the money that they lost based on the fact that he ruined the history of the show.
That makes it suck even worse. But I mean,
because it wasn't an assault case, it was more on loss of revenue. That was a loss of revenue case, and he just happened to lose it.
Well, that sucks even worse. So, but still, at least he has to pay something. Punitive is punitive. It's a punishment, and since he hasn't really worked since then, unless he's been baking it up, 31 million is going to be a big hit, especially since his comeback has been derailed. Speaking of comebacks, Will Smith apologized again, this time more publicly, to Chris Rock, his family, and everyone else at the Oscars. If you want to see the apology, it's on his YouTube channel. And Chris Rock really doesn't seem interested in making amends or accepting the apology, which is his right. So, what do you think of the apology, or what do you think about the situation?
I guess he's getting hit hard, and the fact of he ain't getting as many calls as he used to. So he's starting his apology tour early. I still think he should have took a year off, let everybody cool down, and then next year you could have came back really strong because you're Will Smith. But I guess he getting tired of staying at home. Maybe he bored or something like that. So I thought it was a publicity ploy. I don't believe that he's actually sorry. I think he's more sorry of how it affected his image, which I think is what really gets to him, is that his actions affected his image. The image that he has worked decades on perfecting is what really gets to him. And I'm all for it, because if I was Chris Rock, I damn sure don't ever want to hear from you. Don't speak to me. Don't reach out to me. Like, it's good. Like, you go about your life. You do what you got to do. I'm going to do what I got to do. And we don't need to have no conversation. I am never going to publicly accept your apology. Like, do not think I'm going to help you out in this at all.
I agree. I agree. Chris Rock does not have to accept his apology. Chris Rock doesn't owe Will Smith a thing, and accepting and forgiveness or anything like that. He doesn't have to publicly, but I hope he does it privately. I hope he forgives, and not for the sake of saying, "Hey, what you did to me is okay," but to let go of the anger and the negativity of that situation. They don't ever, and from the apology, I don't get the sense that Will Smith, because like we've alluded to, this has more to do with just that moment. It was a reaction, a bad reaction to a bad joke in a bad moment. Was it warranted? Did a joke warrant a slap? No, I'm not. No, again, I stand by. I hate the run up got done up between two black men, especially happened on TV on that stage in that moment. I hate that, but to me, it's more or less about just accepting it to truly move on. And again, it doesn't have to be public. Just I hope he finds a way to forgive, to let go of all the negative energy associated with that moment and that situation. And
he
that's
can
just
learn to forgive without doing, because I feel like if Chris Rock was to forgive him, whether it's privately or publicly, Will Smith is going to let people know that they've had a conversation. And so I understand the whole Chris Rock is kind of like, we're just going to go silent. Like, let's just move on. Like, let's not rehash this. We weren't necessarily friends before this happened. We're not going to be friends after this. So we good, because any response that Chris Rock has that seems a little bit positive, I feel like Will Smith is going to use that to improve his image, which has been seriously damaged from the slap.
Yeah, I'm not even saying, to me, it doesn't even have to be a conversation that he has between him and Will Smith. Like, that's not what forgiveness is to me. It's not me. It's not if you did something just so horribly. Again, the word of the day is egregious. It's not if you just do something so horribly to me that I'm call you and say, "Yo, Tammy, I forgive you." If we're good, we're good. It's just that whole personal level of forgiveness where you can let it go, where you can let go of the animosity, the anger, all the negativity associated with that. I'm not saying he has. I'm not saying he hasn't. I wouldn't know. But I hope that he does. If he hasn't, I hope that he does find a way to forgive and let it go. But yeah, they weren't friends before. And from what I saw, it doesn't seem like necessarily that Will wants to be friends again, or friends, or thinks that everything's just going to be okay. It's just like I guess he's going through his 12-step process of trying to make amends. So, and I agree. I probably would have waited a little longer before I did it, but at least he did it. At least it's out there, and maybe maybe he's putting it out there so that when he does come back, because again, I also don't think that this should be the end of his career, but maybe he's putting it out there for when he does come back, he won't have to address it. I said what I said. I did what I did. Go check it out on YouTube. But we know it won't be that simple. Okay. So moving on to TV and movie news, there is a lot. We finally get to have a deep conversation about your boys at DC.
At what?
At DC Warner.
Oh, okay. Go ahead. Yes.
What do you think? What do you think I said?
No. Go ahead.
Okay. So do you want to save this for the last bit, or do you want to do this now? Because I think it's going to be pretty in depth.
Do you think it's going to be pretty in depth?
I think so. There's a lot.
Oh, okay. Go for it.
So you want to do it now?
Yeah.
Okay. So Warner Brothers was recently sold off to Zaslav. I think his name is John Zaslav, David Zaslav. He's the owner of Discovery. And one of the big had about the merger or the selling is coming true. He's a TV man. He's really old school. Has very strict ideas about which models make money and what. And as the owner of Discovery, he doesn't deal with a lot of original scripted content. It's a lot of documentaries, docuseries, reality TV series. So a lot of their fears seem to be coming true. And especially what to do with HBO Max, which was gearing up to be a streamer that could compete with Netflix and the other big streamers, that was going to be HBO's or Warner Brothers streaming division. And so he came in and he canceled. Well, first of all, they announced that HBO Max and Discovery Plus are merging next year. And people are thinking that it's going to have more reality content on it than scripted content. We will see. They're quietly removing a lot of Warner Brothers movies, a lot of the Warner Brothers movies, and a lot of HBO shows from HBO Max library. So that has been question of concern. And all of the superhero movies that were planned from HBO Max have been shelved or canceled. Wonder Twins movie, Supergirl movie, and of course the one that is getting the most attention is the Batgirl movie, which was already completed. It was a $90 million movie that was going to be streamed on HBO Max. And they are shelving it. It's not going to be released theatrically or on HBO Max. What do you think about that? That's the first part. That's the first question I want to ask. What do you think about that?
Based on what I read, I'm okay with it not being put out there. I heard it wasn't that great.
Yeah. See, I don't know. And here's the thing. When it was first announced that they were shelving it, 90 million, they got a lot of backlash because people were really looking forward to this movie, not just because of the diverse cast and crew. Leslie Grace was she is Batwoman, or she was Batgirl. Like I said, the movie's already been filmed. She was, Latina. So I was like, okay. But then the part about the leaks about it not being so great only came out after all the backlash, after he was catching all that smoke for not releasing the movie. And so I was like, I heard that too, and I'm like, okay, makes sense. But then the other part of me questions, is that true? Because at this point, if you release it, what do you have to lose? It was going to be on HBO. It was only going to be on HBO Max anyway. It wasn't a big deal it wasn't going to be a big theatrical release or anything like that. So you would have made your money back. Instead, this adds to an already bigger bottom line that's in the red, because since they merged, they have lost billions of dollars, like just his restructuring plan, which it doesn't really seem like he has a big plan. So I don't know. Like, I have mixed feelings about it. On one hand, if the movie was just that bad, that trash, then no, don't release it. But if you're just saying that to kind of save face for not releasing a popular, something that was anticipated, a popular title that was an anticipated release, then if you are not a big fan of the streaming system, he has doubled down. Most of their movies like that will be theatrical. So I don't expect to see a lot of movies coming through them like that, I guess, if that makes sense.
Yeah, but I see, look, DC has put out a lot of bad movies when it comes to the DC universe. So when they said that it looked like a bad extended TV show, I'm actually going to lean towards it being truth, because DC has proven themselves to be able to put out not so great superhero movies. Another thing is, they were going to have to spend another couple $1 million in post-production, and they just stopped. They were like, you know what, we're not spending that extra money, we're just going to stop it right here. Which, I mean, granted, you did lose the money that you already put into the movie, but at the same time, it'd have been embarrassment to put out, even if it's on a streaming service, another bad DC movie. Like, DC, the pressure is really on for DC to finally step up. Like, Marvel is in phase 5. They're finishing phase 4. They're about to start phase 5. Y'all can't even start phase 1. So I'm of the mindset where I kind of understand when he said that any other DC movies that they make will not be on a streaming service. They need to be ready to go into theaters, or we're not making them at all. I'm of that mindset. Like, if you can't make them to be in the theaters, don't make them at all. Like, don't make them at all. I'm good.
I have mixed feelings about that. I mean, I understand what you're saying, but these were not necessarily major movies, and I get it. They still carry the DC brand. So, on one hand, I agree. Like, the business mind, the business aspect thinks, wow, it really, especially since the movie was already done, and basically in post production, that yeah, I think I want to believe that it was just that bad, but then also part of me doesn't want to believe that it was just that bad that you shelve a $90 million movie, even though you get the tax write off on it, but it adds to an already abysmal looking bottom line. Um, so I'm one of those who I'm just really skeptical because I liked HBO Max. And I'm just, I guess it's one of those wait and see moments to how they restructure. I'm not a big fan of reality TVs. If it becomes more just, if they go more to Discovery Plus model, with the HBO Max Discovery merger, that's a no for me because I'm not really into all of that. Now, the nature shows and stuff, that's great, but just having, so I guess that I'm a wait and see. But he did announce they're still going ahead with the Flash. He has confirmed with what most people have said, for the pre-screeners of the Flash, that it is actually a really good movie. It is a shame, and we'll probably have this discussion again later. It is a shame that Ezra Miller is so far off the rails. Although we haven't really heard much about him, so maybe someone reached out to him and said, "Look, dude, just hold it together till we get past this premiere. I need you to hold your shit together for the next 6 to 7 months, okay?" But just and just having compassion and empathy as a human being, I hope he really is getting the help that he needs, because he was really going far off the rails. So I'm looking forward to the Flash movie, and we both said that we were, so that has not changed. The Flash TV show, I know you are going to be so sad when you hear this. It is finally ending after 9 years. It's getting a truncated season. So probably 10, 12 episodes, and then this is the final season. Are you
I haven't
sad?
watched it in like 2-3 years, so I'm good.
Yeah, I'm off of it too. And it's a shame because I usually watch those shows to the end, but yeah, it lost me. So, but I'm glad it had a great run. I do like the cast individually. I know Candace Patton has had a particularly hard time on that show, just because of all the crap she's had to take from fans and her. I don't know. Her relationship with Grant Gustin is off and on. I don't say off and on, but it seems kind of iffy at times. So we'll see. Um, all right. So he also confirmed more or less that they are rebooting Batman and Superman, which I thought Robert Pattinson was a reboot of Batman. I loved him in the Batman. I loved the Batman movie. I know we didn't talk about it. Did you like it?
We did talk about it.
I mean, we didn't review it, but I can't remember. Did you like the Batman?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, like you
Yes,
think he
I
should
did. I
continue?
really liked the Batman. I
Oh,
thought they did a good job.
Okay.
It was too
So,
long.
you thought it was too long?
It was too long.
It didn't seem that long. Like, it's the one
Yes,
that
it
was a
did.
damn.
Yes, it did. There was
It
slow
was
parts.
too.
We didn't review it. We're good.
We did review it. We're not going to review it. I was just saying it was nearly 3 hours, right?
It was 3 hours. Yes.
Oh, it was 3 hours. Okay. All right. Maybe that's why I haven't watched it again on HBO. Huh. But it was good. Okay. So, I this is kind of going to go along with what I'm about to say here. Batman and Superman. seem to be forefront because they are what we can say, and you're the big DC fan. They're the cornerstones of the DC universe. Am I correct? Along with Wonder Woman.
Yes, those three. Yes.
Okay, so are we getting another Wonder Woman?
Yeah, I think they're taping it now.
Okay,
Maybe.
and this would be what one. This would be the third Wonder Woman, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so we are getting this coming back to me now. Uh, the problem that I had, and I think a lot of people had, is that they seem to be operating in dual universe with DC. There's not a lot of carryover. Because I know when the Joker was originally announced, it was like, oh, he's not going to have anything to do with um, the other parts of the DCU. So who like, and that was the thing. I think that's why they really didn't go with the Joker and the Batman, because it's like you had Joaquin Phoenix who did a great Joker. You had, and I'm of the mind that Jared Leto did a decent Joker. But so it's just, I think one of the problems is they need to marry the universe. Like they need to stick with the same characters throughout. What about you?
Yeah, consistency, I guess.
Yeah, like consistency with their characters in a crossover. So I think, um, and I guess we'll have to see what happens with the Joker 2, which is going to be a musical. No, I'm not exaggerating. Lady Gaga is going to play Harley Quinn. So does this mean that Margot Robbie is done with Harley Quinn? Like,
No.
so that's what I'm saying.
So they need to let go. I agree with you, but that's the hard decision of also letting go of Joaquin Phoenix as the Joker if you're not going to implement him into the universe. Like the articles that I read, they are revamping the whole universe. They're starting from scratch. They're going to do the um they're following the game plan of Marvel. If you're following the game plan of Marvel, you need to scrap everything that is not connected to the DC universe. That is the first thing. And if you're not willing to scrap everything that is connected to the DC universe, then you're not really looking to compete with Marvel. You need to hire actors who sign up for multiple movies. You need to have one person who is in control of the whole DC universe. They need to give you a 10-year plan, or we're up to phase 5 now. They need to give you at least the first 3 phases. What movies are they coming out with? Who do they want to play these characters? All of that. But they will have to let go of some of these actors that they've hired who have done standalone movies, who are not going to be included in the universe. That is the thing. Are they willing to let go of the Joaquin Phoenix and the Henry Cavill and Robert Pattinson, who I thought did a great Batman, but Bruce Wayne, it's a little harder. But so are they willing to do that? If they're going to do a musical for Joker, they're still playing games. DC still playing games.
And see, I agree with you. I'm like, what? It was now. I loved the Joker, and I didn't think I was one of those who didn't think I would like it. But the first movie was so good. But now I'm like, why are you doing a musical? You're bringing in Lady Gaga as Harley Quinn, so it's like you don't have that consistency throughout the universe. So where
It's
do
an
you build?
award getter.
Where do you build on? I love Robert Pattinson, and I thought the movie was, and I agree. We didn't really see much of him as Bruce Wayne. I thought maybe in the next movie we would get more to see more of him as a Bruce Wayne, since he kind of dealt with those demons, and he seemed at the end positioned more in a position or in a mental headspace to actually be Bruce Wayne. So I would love to see, and I thought, wow, it turned, because I was one of those that was hard on the movie from the very beginning. I would love to see him continue. I thought that was a good building point. If you want to continue on with him with Batman, but see, and I read that, oh, we have a 10-year plan, but I haven't seen any real details of what this 10-year plan is going to be. You know, um,
They're going to
Marvel
build
has,
it off of the success of Aquaman and Wonder Woman. Their most
you know,
successful franchises.
so yeah, I guess we'll just see
We
what we're
shall
going to do
see.
there. We'll see. All right, so that's that. But yeah, the Joker musical, that's a joke. I can't even. You know how I feel about musicals, so you've already turned me off. Like, all right. So Grey's Anatomy, one of your favorite shows. Do you? Why do you laugh? Why are you laughing?
Not one of my favorite shows.
You're a bigger fan than I am.
No, I'm not. I haven't watched it in years.
I haven't watched it in years either, but I keep up with it because I watch Station 19, and that's like its sister show spinoff. But I'm still aware of what's happening in at Seattle Sloan Memorial Gray, whatever they call it now. But so Harry Shum Jr. and some other big names are joining the cast this year, like Adelaide Kane, um, uh, Midori Francis from Dash and Lily, uh, Nero Tiro. Guess that's how you say his name. He starred with the guy in that thing about Harry, so he's reuniting with his co-star. I can't think of the guy's name right now in Grey's Anatomy, and I wrote it down, and I just can't find where I wrote it down. See, I'm like that, y'all. Yep, but y'all know that already. So, are you excited about that? Is that going to get you to come back, or are you just excited
There's
that
one
Harry Shum?
person that is going to make me tune in the beginning to this new season of Grey's Anatomy, and that's Harry Shum Jr.
Okay.
I love him. So I was just like, I don't watch Grey's Anatomy anymore. I haven't watched it in years. I'll be honest, I have no idea what's going on with any of the characters on the show whatsoever. Don't know what's going on with any of them. But I think I'm going to start watching again with Harry Shum Jr. I'd like to see what he does with this new role. He's one of I just really, really love him. I think he's so talented. So I'm happy that he's getting the chance to shine. Well, hopefully he
Okay.
gets a chance to shine, because Grey's Anatomy, a lot of times they go in for like 5 episodes and then they get cut. So hopefully he shines.
Well, I think one of the reasons they're adding so many new cast members is it's truly going to be an ensemble. There are only three original OG cast members left: Ellen Pompeo, um, Richard Weber, and Miranda. And I'm just having a total brain fart on names. Um, but yeah, and Ellen Pompeo is only going to be in about a third of the episodes, meaning about eight. Grey's Anatomy is still one of those OG shows that does full 20 plus episode seasons. So her 8 episodes are would equal about a third of the shows or episodes. And she also said one thing. She's like, they need to be less preachy with the way they handle social issues and social justice issues. So as a producer on that show, I'm sure she can help make that happen. But yeah, I don't know if I will put it back in the rotation. It might be something I check out on Netflix or what have you. But I might watch an episode or two, especially like I said, I still watch Station 19, and they do crossovers a lot. So we'll see. Excuse me. Good Girls. The cancellation of Good Girls is back in the news. Retta is making her rounds on talk shows, and it brought up, of course, people ask about what happened with Good Girls, and she seemed to confirm that Manny Montana was the holdout or the cause of the show not being renewed. And I can't say that I blame him 100%. I mean, I love Manny Montana, but he and Christina Hendricks did not get along. But he wouldn't take a pay cut. Um, Most of the cast and main characters agreed to take a pay cut, but he wouldn't agree to the pay cut. So I don't know if it was the same. I don't know the details, the financials, if they were offering to pay him less because he and Christina Hendricks didn't get along. They were minimizing his character. And it wasn't just so much that they were not having them in scenes anymore. It's like he would not be around. So the question was asked, well, why not just let him go completely? Because he was one of the most popular characters on the show. So it's just a messy situation. And I hate that it can't be resolved because I love that show. And that's one of those shows that I think about when they say, oh, what's the show you wish they would bring back or they could bring back or you wish got a proper ending? And that's The Good Girls for me. I love that show. Did you still watch it?
No, but I will say I'm a huge fan of Manny Montana too. So I still wish they would have extended his 1 episode character from All American. So upset. I really wanted to see him in that. But yeah, I didn't watch it anymore, but I did watch scenes of his character Rio with Beth. I was a fan because they had amazing chemistry. I did not know until now that they did not get along. Like, I didn't know, well, until I read the article. I did read the article, which showed me that they didn't get along, and that's the reason why he ultimately said no. But I did not know that, like, because their chemistry was like off the charts. I'm like, what the heck was going on between the both of y'all that y'all did not get along at all? Like, it's kind of crazy on, because I feel like that kind of goes into how good of actors they are, that you may not get along, but you can still like pull off your storyline. Or at least when I used to watch scenes with them, they could really pull off their storylines, even though in real life they weren't fans of each other.
Yeah, by the time the last season came around, the rumor that the cat was out of the bag about them not getting along, but and I guess it leaked, quote unquote, leaked to explain why he wasn't around as much, especially since he was his character. It was really funny. His character started off as a supporting character. Then, because of the chemistry, just because he is the gorgeousness, the graciousness, the everything that is Manny Montana, he became really popular. So, series regular. And then, as it became clear, or I guess behind the scenes, that they didn't get along, they had to try to figure out how to keep the storyline going, but keep them out of each other's orbit, if that makes sense. And from the writing perspective, you could tell, like, where's Rio? Like, this is a scene Rio should be in. So as from that perspective, I could kind of tell. But as far as them on the screen together, no, you couldn't tell what was going on behind the scenes, because whenever they were in a scene together, it was great. But and I know that she's really close to Retta and I'm having a name fart today. May. That they said it kind of spilled over to his interaction with those two as well, even because that's their girl. Like, the three of them are really close off the set. So I don't know. It just sucks that it came down to that. And I hope they all to see them all again. And I'm with you. I want Manny Montana on All American. Maybe it will happen, since it looks like they're going through a coaching thing.
I don't want him there now. But I do want him to. I don't want this to like hinder him from, being hired on another series and leading another series, because it just shows that he went from being a minor character to one of the top billing on the show. So I would hope that he's going to get another offer, because he has been very popular on every show that he's ever been in, whether it was a minor character or a huge role. He has been a very popular actor on these shows. So I just hope that he gets another offer.
I do too. And how do I put this? Because of who the beef was with, she's going to get the benefit of the doubt for various reasons. And I'm not saying it was wrong. I'm not saying it was her fault. I'm not saying any of that. I'm just saying, looking at the optics, do you see where I'm going with this?
Yep.
That that would hinder him more than it would hinder her.
I know.
And just from her days at Mad Men, she does have that type of reputation. So that's neither here nor there. And the way they work in Hollywood, it kind of leads me to another story about Zendaya and Keke Palmer. I hated this. I understand the whole colorism in Hollywood. Colorism is real, not just in Hollywood. It's real in our community. And I think Keke handled it graciously. And but I hate that the way the story was worded, or the way, and they do it for clickbait. I hate that it seems like they're trying to pit two talented Black women against each other, and I'm not for that. But the subject of colorism in Hollywood needs to be addressed. Yes, still in this day and age, it needs to be addressed. What about you? What do you think?
Oh, I'm of the same mindset. I think that when they put it out there and they say, why is it that Zendaya gets way more attention than Keke Palmer? Keke Palmer did a great job of putting out like all her credits to her name. I thought that was really fantastic. But we do also need to address the fact of colorism. Yes, Zendaya has been in more blockbusters, but colorism does play a role in those blockbusters, in that success. And I'm not saying that she's not a great actress. Love Zendaya, huge fan of hers. But we do have to acknowledge that in Hollywood and in society in general, especially in our community as well, there are certain mindsets that goes into the tone of your skin, whether you're light skin, dark skin. To see how much Kiki has done, and I didn't know half of the stuff that that she has to her name, but to see all the stuff that she's done and she's still not on the level that I feel she should be at, definitely speaks to the conversation of colorism within Hollywood.
And I hope Nope does a lot to boost her cred, because that it's a blockbuster by all rights. I still haven't seen it yet. Every time I plan to go, something comes up and I have to cancel. But I'm definitely going to see it. I want to see it, so I hope it does a lot to boost up her creds. Because she, like I said, the one thing I hated is how the article seemed to pit them against each other when it's not even like that. But in doing so, it doesn't do a true service to addressing the true topic at hand, and that is colorism in Hollywood. And to take it a bit further, you could even have this in a black publication and just talk about colorism in general, but we don't like to do that. And one of the things that kind of goes along with what I was just saying about Manny Montana and colorism, the TCA awards are going on, and this was just something really quick. And I know you're not a big fan of Abbott Elementary, but it is a really popular show, really great show. But one of
it won, right? A lot of awards.
No, but yeah, it won a lot of awards. But here's one of the headlines I saw: TCA gives Abbott Elementary.
Shit. Damn.
I'm like, the fuck? Is it
because they earned every award that they won?
Thank you. Like,
see, that's why people be trying to put hit out on other people, yo.
Thank you. And see, even as with you not being a fan of the show, you caught that.
Yeah.
Like I was just like, the fuck? Like, ain't that a bitch? So and more of ain't that a bitch, Hollywood being Hollywood, doing Hollywood things, how white men always get the benefit of the doubt. James Franco is on his comeback tour, and they're casting him as Fidel Castro.
Eddie, I literally, before we started recording, read up on this, and I was just like, you right, ain't this a bitch? Like, I'm so pissed off. Like, and you know what they justified this with casting him as a Hispanic? You know how they justified this? Well, he's a quarter Portuguese. What the fuck?
Well, if you want to look, if you trace my DNA back far enough, I'm sure you can find some Caucasian in there.
Heck yeah, but we ain't gonna be casted as no white person though.
Thank you. Like, not even a very tanned white. Look, they wouldn't even cast me as Dorothy Dandridge, who was black. Okay.
I was like, and then they justified it also by saying that he has the facial features of Fidel Castro. I am so sorry. When, like, I get it. You may want somebody to look like him, but you also want somebody that represents the culture, because we are going to be up in arms. I am a Black woman and I am still up in arms about this. Like, when is Hollywood going to learn? You just don't do this. You know what this brought me back to? I had a thought, very quick thought when I read this, right? Mm-hmm. You remember when that Fines boy was casted as Michael Jackson?
Oh God, yes.
And his justification for taking the role was because he was going to be playing Michael when he was white Michael, as they say, and this is with quotations from fingers. And so like that was the justification for taking the role, and then they had to scrap it because it was such a huge thing. I feel like I hope that the Hispanic community really comes out in droves to go against this. I don't care if his daughter is all for this and she's approved it. I don't care. It's the fact of saying you have another white American playing not just a Hispanic American, but he's playing a Cuban.
Thank you.
Cuban.
And he can't even pass for quote unquote a Cubano or a white Cuban. He would have to be Fidel. There was no doubt that
Ooh, you think they're gonna tan him? You think they're gonna tan him?
Girl,
like they did Zoe?
Girl, you know what? I said that would be even a bigger disgrace. Like
it would be a slap in the face to us. I mean, to them. Sorry, not to us. It'd be a slap in the face to them.
Well, John Leguizamo and others are already coming out against it. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
I know that was one that was just thrown in there, but I was just like, when I saw it, it kind of went along with everything else we were talking about, and I was just like, so again, going back, yes, Will Smith definitely deserves to get a second chance. But yeah, I have no words just besides the fuck. Like, really,
WTF,
really,
WTF.
Even if your legacy, Franco, hadn't been tarnished by this shit, by all the other shit, the fuck. Okay, so moving on really quickly before we wrap up. MTV Video nominations. Did you see them?
I did. I looked at them.
Are there any that stand out to you?
My girl Adele. Like, they just didn't give her due. And I love Adele. That's my girl. Not a full fan of the 30, but based on the other people that have been nominated in categories that automatically would have been Adele's categories, I'm just like, you know what? 30 was the best album I ever heard. Because I just feel like, you kind of screwed her over. Like, I mean, this is Adele. Like, she's a legend and she's not even 40 yet. She's an absolute legend, just her voice alone. But I saw some that I was just like, okay, like I like Lil Nas X. Yo, is it wrong that I want him to like sweep everything? And I'm not even necessarily a fan of his.
No, to kind of go back and say fuck you to the BET Awards.
Yes.
That still hurts.
Yes.
No,
yes, like I just want, but
you
granted,
can't even get appreciation from your own fucking people, man.
At all. No recognition from our culture and our community for him, all because of his sexuality. Like that is it. Because if it wasn't for that, I think he would have swept the BET Awards as well. But just because of that, we completely shut him out.
But they want to use him and promote him for their, but yeah.
For viewership, you know what? I feel like, is he the Black BTS?
Probably. And I was going to say that too, but I know we've had a lot of BTS conversation, but
no, I don't like not to go fully into it, but like.
But you're always talking about how BTS. People are using BTS to make money and for clicks and views and all that shit, and that's exactly what BET did to Lil Nas X this year.
Yeah, so I'm gonna agree with you on that part. And I don't even watch award shows, but even I know that he was definitely screwed over. I think he's done a phenomenal job. I think that he is a great artist. I'm just not necessarily a fan of the music, but I have weird taste sometimes. But when I do watch his videos and I listen to his music, I can definitely appreciate his talent. And I just think he doesn't get the credit within the community that he deserves.
Yeah. Well, considering MTV started off as a video network, a video music network, which most people, MTV was the original YouTube. Okay.
Yes.
You didn't used to have to go look for shit on YouTube to see the video. It was
you just
MTV.
Watch MTV.
So considering it's the Video Music Awards, Lil Nas X puts out amazing videos, and he plays a big hand in the storytelling, meaning creating the story, the storyboard, all of it. So very, very creative. So you always got to give him a shout out for that. So he should always be nominated. And I was looking through these categories, and I had him and Jack Harlow for Video of the Year. But honestly, I think everyone is going to lose to Taylor Swift and the All Too Well. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if every category that her and that video are nominated in, if she wins it. But in all honesty, it should win for probably best cinematography and best long form video, um, because it's almost like a little, as far as videos go, it's like a mini TV show, but it's good. It tells a good story. But yeah, um, I'm thinking Adele probably should have been nominated for more. I don't know if her album came out too soon, but yeah,
No,
she's
because they got some songs that literally just came out like last month.
yeah, I know. So that's what I'm saying. I don't know if it came out like too early in the year.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Uh, but so
You know
I
who
did
I'm really excited about?
have.
So I fell in love with this song after I listened to it over and over again. But Justin Bieber
And the
and
Kid Leroy stay.
yes, like I want Stay to win it all. Like
Yeah.
I love that song.
I think they're going to have. I think they might take Song of the Year. It was I think
I
so
Song
far.
of the Year and Best Collaboration. I'm all for them. Like I think that they need Song of the Year and Best Collaboration. I just think like out of the different music that I've heard, that song stuck with me the most. Like it was really good.
Yeah. Best that was the best collab was a hard one for me because I really liked all those songs except for the Elton John Dua Lipa one. So I could see it going to anybody in that category, but I agree it'd probably go to the Kid Leroy, and Justin Bieber, or maybe Drake featuring Young Thug. I don't know. 17 was nominated for Best New Artist. Those of us who knows that 17 is not a new artist, quote unquote, but they might be
Wait,
new to the American airwaves.
hold on,
So,
hold on. Wait. I did not see that. I gotta
mhm,
look for that. Best new artist.
yep. And again, they're not new to us. Those of us who are K-pop fans, but they are
Oh shit, they
new
really are nominated.
to the American, and they were nominated for another one, Best K-pop, 17 BTS. I
Oh,
think, okay, I'm calling it. Um, I think Stray Kids might be the upset.
they're not gonna be the upset. They're gonna be the ones that win. That's not an upset since they're the most popular. They're the most popular group besides BTS right now.
Yeah. So, but since most people outside, I wouldn't be surprised if they win. And to those who don't know, those who are still on the BTS train and think that's the entirety of K-pop, it would be an upset. But I could see it if they would win. I like Stray Kids, so what else? Best visual effects. I have two videos for this one. Coldplay and BTS for My Universe, and The Heart Part 5, Kendrick Lamar. Either one of those videos deserves it. Visually, they were both outstanding videos to me. So we'll see. And then a lot of this is like, I felt like it was really repetitive, like just nominating the same people
Yes, over and over
and
again.
over
Like
again.
I feel like you can have like maybe 20 people at the award show and that's it. That you good.
Yeah, like this, look, this would have been a great COVID awards where you didn't need everybody to show up.
Yep.
You
Because
just needed
yeah, it's
the
very
performers
limited.
there.
Like I
But yeah,
feel yeah, I feel like they haven't really, but then again, you know what, the MTV awards are always like that though. It's more of a popularity contest than anything else. um so it's like you definitely want to be introduced to other people. Like I'm a little upset on the fact of saying Monster X was not nominated. Like I mean, seriously, over La Lisa? Like really? Like have you heard the lyrics to La Lisa?
I'm gonna
But
see. I'm gonna steal a phrase for you. It pays to be a member of Blackpink.
it does pay to be a member of Blackpink. And I am like, yeah, I'm going to agree with you on that. So that's just my little opinion right there.
Yeah, I like Lisa, but when it came out, I'm not. I'm what. It's a great little dance song if you're just gonna put it on and do a routine to, but it's not a song to me. It's not like it doesn't warrant nomination. So it pays to be a member of Blackpink in that
They
sense.
could have nominated God Seven. God Seven had the year, the best year they ever had.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens. Speaking of BTS, they released their song with Benny Blanco and Snoop is out. I like it. It's a catchy little bop. It's cool. Like I said, it's a catchy little bop. It's not song of the year. It's not okay. Let's get this to a billion videos. BTS is not even in the video. But I think Benny Blanco did a good job, and he made it cute. It's still all about BTS, so it's cute all the way around. Did you see it or have you heard the song?
Nope. I'm gonna let you go on that on your own. I have not listened to it and I have not seen it.
Oh, well, you should listen to it. Like I said, it's a catchy little bop. The video is cute for what it is. BTS is not in it. I'll go ahead and let you know that now. But he did a good job considering, he probably, due to time or whatever distance, they couldn't be in it for whatever reason. But who knows? Beyonce, she released her Renaissance album Part One, which is a dance. It it it's a it's a dance. It's a good album. I like it. It's full of dance, up track beats. There aren't really any slow songs on it. People are calling it a queer revolution. So all the and she dedicated to her uncle who was gay. So her uncle who had passed away. Um, she took out lyrics, the same ones as Lizzo. I didn't know spaz was a bad thing, but ableists say it's a bad thing. And in the culture, to us it just usually means why you wilding out, why you acting so crazy. But apparently you can't say spaz anymore. Did you know that?
I didn't know it was as big of a thing, but at the same time, I'm like, you know what? There are words that we shouldn't be using, but when it doesn't affect us, we're okay with it. So I'm like, okay, like if y'all say that it's a word that we shouldn't be using, out of my vocabulary.
Yeah, like I said, once I didn't realize because, like I said, in the culture it meant something totally different. So, but once I read up on it, and I'm like, okay, I understand. I'm gonna, because who am I to say what offends you necessarily? The other part though that I don't agree with, but I understand why she did it. Khalees made a big deal about Beyonce having a bit of a sample of one of her songs in her song on her album. And I understand Khaleesi's beef, I really do, but her beef shouldn't have been with Beyonce. Beyonce went through the proper channels, which is the person who owned the music and the rights to the song, Pharrell, from when Khalees was signed to his label to get it released. Um,
Wait,
Khalees
so
is
she
one
got
of
permission from like because I know Khalees didn't have anything to do with the actual song. She's just the artist for the song. But so Beyonce got permission from the people who actually wrote it and produced it, and then she made a stink just because her name is attached to it.
Yeah, she made a
Okay.
stink because she signed like when Khalees was hit big, and pretty much I know Khalees was big back in the day, and I know Milkshake, but that's the only song. She's one of those artists where I know she had her moment, but the only song I can tell you she sung, like if you put me
My
on a spot and
milkshake
say,
brings all the boys to the yard.
yeah, if you put me on a spot and say name another song besides Milkshake, I can't do it. But she signed a bet. She was one of those who got caught up in having a shit ass record deal. So she doesn't get any money from the songs. I don't think she can. She's one of those who I don't think she can even perform Milkshake without permission, or she doesn't get residuals and all that from it. It was a crap ass deal that she signed with Pharrell and Chad on the Neptunes label, right?
Got you.
So, like I said, I understand your beef. Your beef was with the wrong person, though. It shouldn't have been with Beyonce. It should have been with Pharrell and Chad and all of them. Beyonce did what she had to do, but because she made such a big deal of it, she took the little. And again, here's how bad it is. I couldn't even tell you. Like if I go
Yeah.
back and listen to it now, I can't even tell you what it was. Like it's not something that would be just missed or just change the song that much to me. So hey. Um, she's going. Beyonce is also talking about getting all the queens. I know they're going to love this. Break My Soul is getting a Queens remix. That's the name of it, Queens remix with Madonna and Beyonce. That's going to be epic. I'm actually interested to hear that remix. To see, I know it's going to be a dance floor, just yeah, a club thing, like a true club mix. I can only imagine. J Hope's Lala set was an all around success. From reviews, it was the highest ticket seller in Lollapalooza history. You can go to YouTube and watch the full thing without, legally. You can go to YouTube and watch the full set of J Hope at Lollapalooza. So that is it. And one small note, Jessie, speaking of K-pop, she left her her contract ended with Size label, P Entertainment, I think it's called. And she's leaving at the end of her contract. I didn't realize Jessie had never released a full album.
No, she did viral hits.
So we will see where Jessie ends up landing. I'm sure it will be on her feet because she is a Jersey girl, and Jersey girls always seem to land on their feet. All right, that is it. I think we rewinded, we rewound, we rewinded, we did it. We did the damn thing. You got anything else to add?
No.
All right. Well, that is it for this episode of the Rewind. Please be sure to like, listen, follow, and comment anywhere where you listen to your podcast, anywhere you stream podcasts and music. We are there. Yay! You can also keep up to date on the latest in entertainment pop culture news, as well as other amazing kernels of pop culture goodness at thepopcornwindown.com. That's it. That's the plug. Pop, 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 pop. I am going to get my sound effect. Don't you all worry about it. It's coming one day. Thank you as always. And until next time, I'm Eddie.
And I'm Tammy. Bye.
Peace.